I have 26 stitches from here.
Most recent Republican nominee C.
That was from their.
I don't think you're not nominees this time. I think that includes you're in that one, or you're not that one. Because you're in one.
Oh, yeah.
That's not going down.
This Friday and Saturday.
I got yours coordinated.
Should've.
Getting close, isn't it? Good morning and welcome to the meeting of the Berry County Board of Commissioners for November 12th, 2024. If you would please stand for our invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed on us and our community. Thank you for the opportunity for all of us to continue to serve you and our community. Bless us, guide us, and all those who work alongside us. Grant us the wisdom and the patience to do what is right for our county and all of our constituents. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. For purposes of attendance, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Carlton. Present. Campbell.
Here.
Roster.
Present.
Getty. Here. Hatfield.
Here.
Smelker.
Here.
Tunison.
Here.
Jackson.
Here. Thank you. Reports from state and county officials. Are there any state or county officials with us this morning that would like to give an update to the board? Good morning.
Good morning. Liz Lenz, coordinator of the Berry County Substance Abuse Task Force. So Dave, you mentioned service in your invocation, so I just want to say thank you to those of you who have served. Service means a lot, but ultimately those who have served the country. So yesterday being Veterans Day, just want to thank you and anybody here today that also serves, so thank you. So I'm here to give you an update. Is there feedback? Okay. You can't hear? I am here today to give you an update about the opioid settlement funds and let you know where that process is. So in October, we did receive news that we had completed about 59 approximately face-to-face interviews with people with either lived experience or with family members or community members regarding the opioid settlement funds and where they thought those dollars could be used to improve life for everyone, but first and foremost for those who had been impacted. Additionally, the interviewers from Michigan State conducted about 20 additional focused interviews or group interviews, and then on 10/25 they were invited into the Berry County Jail and were able to speak with some folks there about their lived experience, and that was important to the process to capture that population's perspective as well. We anticipate a summary report late November, early December from that needs assessment process. And so we'll be sharing those summary findings as well. That is unpleasant, isn't it?
It's bad.
It's bad. I think I'll just talk loud. How's that? Okay. All right. So that draft report is expected late November, early December. You know, there's some things called the holidays coming up that really kind of cause some rerouting, but we'll anticipate that. We did have the first meeting of the Opioid Settlement Fund Steering Committee, and that was in late October. And as a result, Rich Franklin from the ISD has stepped forward to kind of chair a subcommittee that will look at putting together an RFP for folks to request funds from the opioid settlement funds that are available. Bill Mattson from the Family Support Center will be stepping up to kind of chair that subcommittee that will then review those completed RFPs and score them. And so that kind of puts us in a nice position. We have meetings coming up here in the next few weeks before the end of the year between those two subcommittees. And I know, Catherine, you're planning on joining us. The next steps really are for you and the county to make some decisions about how much of those funds you'd like to put up for allocation through the RFP process. It can begin hopefully in early 2025. Once that RFP is approved by you, of course, and we'll get it in front of you and do everything with full transparency to make sure that it follows the tenets of these opioid settlement funds. So any questions for me? I just want to thank you for your patience. As you know, sometimes when we have to move slow to do good work, even though it's expected for us to go fast. And so I just appreciate the patience, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
No, we've been hearing about opioid settlement funds for a while, and it's just been a slow motion process at this point. So I'm happy to see your leadership here and putting that committee together and making things work. So,
Right? Thank you.
I have a
Any other
question, Mr.
questions?
Chair, yes.
Commissioner Colton.
What was can you repeat the amount that's coming to Berry County?
Well, let's see. So I'm going to need some help. I think if I'm maybe Eric, is there maybe a little over 200,000 sitting in Berry County right now? Is that where we're at? That's been received? It's an ever-changing number.
Yeah, I can't remember. We'll make sure you have those
Yeah.
numbers.
So they estimate that Berry County will receive about 1.6 to 1.8 over the full 18 years, Dr. Colton. So if I think I'm right, we're just finishing the second year of receiving those funds. So there's 16 more years in the 18-year settlement period. Those, they have a choice in how they pay. So they may be able to pay a lump sum at one time, or they may be able to pay, they have to pay some, and then they have so many years that they have to pay again. So it's all very clear as mud. And hopefully, if all goes well, by the end of that 18 years, the county will have received that 1.6 or 1.8 million, somewhere in there. I apologize for not being clear on that. And I don't know if you're going to be around in 16 years or, but we hope that that's what we see. And we hope that we can, steward those dollars for the good of folks that want to see some things done differently to prevent future opioid addictions or fatalities.
So it's about $100,000 a year?
It doesn't come in, you kind of think that, but it doesn't come in that way. It's really up to those who are involved in the settlement, how they choose to pay. I wish I could be, Eric, you look like you want to say something.
We have 424,000 in opioid settlement funds at this time, and expect to receive another 90 this year, in 25.
So,
And then I will get you, Michael had a spreadsheet put together
yeah,
for all we expect to receive. I'll make sure you get that today.
yeah. I don't know if that helps. Did that help?
Oh, it's very helpful, thank
Okay.
you.
Any other questions?
Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you, Liz.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yep. Any other state or county officials that would like to address the board?
Morning.
Good morning, Courtney.
How are you guys? I'm
Awesome.
gonna stand over here because I feel like I can project better than echo back at me. But let me know if you can't hear me. So Courtney Zinni, Executive Director at Berry County Commission on Aging. Just wanted to give a couple of activity updates from this fall. We did a visit to Charlton Park, and if you haven't done that, that was amazing. The staff there was great. We had kind of a small group that went. I think there was about 30 to 35, and they all had a terrific time. So we're talking about going back again, maybe in the late spring, early summer. That's how much fun they had. So they want to know more, and they want to see more. It was one of the first cooler days, and so for our seniors, sometimes that can be a little cumbersome. So a few of them chose not to attend that would have liked to go. So we also did a trunk or treat. This is our second year doing that. We saw over 100 community members come through in an hour time span. So again, really fun, lots of great costumes, saw all sorts of ages. And we were the beneficiaries of the the most candy you've ever seen donated. I did not have to buy one piece of candy. We sent candy out to all our Meals on Wheels clients because we had the community has just been very giving to us. And then yesterday we had our Veterans Breakfast, and we saw about 40 plus community members, and that was a really good time too. So we do our monthly Veterans Breakfast, but we really felt it was important this month to do it on Veterans Day. And so we had a couple commissioners join us, and again, a great time. My main reason for being here today is to let you know that the bid package was released last week for the new facility. So that's been released. This afternoon, we have a pre-bid conference as well as site visit for those contractors that want to see the site, want to see where maybe those connections into Harvest Point are. So that's this afternoon at 2 o'clock. It's not mandatory for those subcontractors, but it is available. The timeline for that, and I have provided this to the commissioners, but I do want to make sure that that is also said publicly, is that the site walkthrough and the pre-bid conference, as I said, is this afternoon. Deadline for submittal of pre-bid RFIs will be November 20th. Final pre-bid amendum will be November 27th. So as we go through this process, we're still looking at value engineering and ways, what are some areas that maybe we can look at cost savings. And then the bids will be due on December 3rd with the public bid opening that same afternoon at 2 p.m. Bids and the public bid opening will be at Commission on Aging. So that's where that is. If you'll recall, I know I came before and mentioned this, but the reason for us going out to bid at this point is so that we really can get that estimate, that final estimate, that maximum price locked in, so that we can make sure that our fundraising and the money that the county has set aside is in line with where the project looks. The project manager also thinks this will give us another opportunity to continue looking at those value engineering opportunities. So there are some pieces of the project that we've asked to be bid separately, so that we know if the bid doesn't come in where we want them to, that those are already areas that we know that we can cut back on if necessary. So any questions?
Commissioner Tunison.
Just want to make sure that we've gone out of our way to invite local contractors, right?
Yes, yep, that was part, that was,
Knows that we have invited them, especially to take part in this.
yep,
So that was really important. I know when we were talking about it all the way from day one, it was important that we include
yep,
as much as we can, as many local contractors as we can, so
yeah.
thank you.
Yep. Frederick Construction has done a really good job of making sure that the bids go out far and wide, that the package does. So it's on all of the general boards. They've reached out locally as well as to contractors who have maybe done other projects within the county. So, yeah.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Additional questions? Commissioner Doster.
Could you explain what you mean by value engineering?
So, this is an example. Last week I had to make a decision if I wanted to make sidewalks skinnier or not. So because it will save it in dollars for concrete. So we literally went through, well, it's this wide here and this wide there. So that's one way that we're doing it. There are a couple of what we would consider amenities. So like the covered pavilion, which has been a need and a want. I mean, our seniors would like to be outside more, but that really would be considered an amenity. So that's one of those items that they're bidding separately, so that if, the most important part is that we have a building where we can do what we need to do. But we also know it's harder to add some of those things at a later date too, so.
So it's kind of a balancing of
Yeah.
a benefit to cost.
Yes, yep, yep.
Kind of a want versus a necessity too.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or,
Final
yeah.
bids will be out just in time for Christmas.
I know, right?
Very good.
Yeah, so still, as long as fundraising comes in, as long as final bids come in where we think, we're still looking at a spring build, so super exciting.
And capital campaign?
Doing good. We're at about 1.8 million, which is a phenomenal amount of money raised through the community, and that will, more fundraising will be happening soon.
Okay, that was my question, if there was a fall capital
Yep.
campaign or something you guys were talking about.
So I'll be back on Giving Tuesday to talk to you about that.
All right. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, right?
Additional questions for Courtney? Thank you.
Thank you.
Additional reports from any state or county officials?
Gino Lucci, Airport Manager for Berry County Airport. I wasn't going to speak, but I was checking my messages there, and this is directed towards you guys from folks that participated in the haunted hangars, and they wanted to thank you. I got 2 or 3 messages on Facebook for the approval of you guys and our airport commission to have that event out at the airport. It was 100% volunteer or vendor supplied, so it didn't cost the city, the county, anything other than lights to put that on. Some numbers, we had 400, we figure over 400 kids. We ran out of stuff that we were using to count. We had 150 in the first 15 minutes of the event, and it went on for about an hour and 45 minutes. 12 aircraft. If it wouldn't have been so windy, we would have had more airplanes, but the pilots were a little worried on bringing their airplanes out in that wind, so we kind of limited it to what we could tie down and actually bring through. We had 2 independent people, and we had a lot of requests for more to come out, and by that I mean they didn't have airplanes, they just wanted to do their trunk or treat or Halloween there at the airport, so they just pulled their cars out and we set them in between the airplanes. We had 2 golden tickets issued, which were a local pilot gave up his airplane and his flight time to fly 2 people that won. Only 1 has claimed it so far, but the community feedback has been tremendous on it. I never ever would have thought that. And next year, the city fire department wants to be involved with it, so we hope to grow it even more. So this is just literally a thank you to you guys and to Bob and John for helping us approve that out there. And then the last thing is our building is on track. All contracts are signed, and we are due to start December 1st for digging into the ground for the building with an expected completion date of the first week of July.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Is that the first year you've done it?
That's the first year we've ever done any community event like that out there. So we have, if it weren't for the building going in, we were going to plan more stuff for the spring, but I don't want too much confusion because I'm going to have 2 construction projects at the same time. But we will have a pancake breakfast sometime in July. That won't affect with the building or anything, so.
I'd say these kids are making out. There's been trunk or treats everywhere, multiple events. We used to have to hump our butt all across
Yeah.
the city, get a bag of candy, and now they're handing it out in the parking lot. So.
Well, what they liked was, I guess, the fact of, because the way we closed off the ramp, from what the parents told me, they didn't have to worry about their little ones, like going into the street or anything, I guess similar to what you folks do on Green Street, and it kind of had free roam, feral kids out there going all around, so.
Questions for Gino? Commissioner Cowan?
Gino?
Yes.
What's going to be the cost of the new building?
Right now, from everything that I'm seeing, it's 1.8 million. And we have matching funds of 5% of that. I have already met with the contractor when we were signing the contracts and everything, and we're looking at things that we can do, and we're looking for donations through some contacts that I have to see if we can bring that cost down. I don't imagine it'll come down much, but we do have, there's ways we can try to bring some things in the line or make it a little bit more useful, and we are working on that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Additional questions? Commissioner Tennyson?
So the grant, just so you're aware, Mike, the grant was for a portion of the city and the airport, and then the county basically had to come together and put $400,000 of, so the airport took $200,000 out of their budget and then borrowed $100,000 from the city and from the county, which will be paid back annually to each until it's paid off.
And how much was the grant?
I thought the grant was for closer to 1.8 million. What am I?
Right, I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood the question. The grant and the building were 1.8. We have a 5% matching fund, which is what Mr. Tunison was talking about, where we have 200,000 comes directly out of the airport fund, which is user fees. Remember, the city or the county does not donate to the airport. We're one of about 13 in the state that are self-sufficient. And then so we didn't go broke. We asked for a loan of $100,000 from the city and the county, and then we will pay that back over a period of so many years through user fees.
So the total cost of the building then is 200,000?
No, 1.8, 1.8 of that, 1.8 million is the total cost.
Total cost.
Right, so there's matching funds and there's federal funds. We didn't go, you could theoretically have gone to 2.2, but I don't believe we're at that number.
Okay, thank you.
The 200,000 of that is put together as matching funds by the city and the county.
Correct, but that will be paid back by the airport. In other words, it's not costing the city or the county anything. Like I said, we're one of the few self-sufficient airports out there. But we had 400,000 in our reserves, but we didn't want to blow all of that in case if we had or spend all of that in case if we had like a fuel tank failure or anything like that we'd have to fund. So that's why we asked for the loan from the city and the county.
Perfect. I appreciate the update. Thank you.
No problem.
Excuse me,
Yes.
I still didn't understand, the 5% is how much?
400,000.
400,000.
200 from the airport one. That's our.
That doesn't add up at all.
I'll get you the breakdown.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
400,000 that we had to come up with. I wasn't sure about the 5%.
well, the 5%, there's a contingency in there. So we're projected to be at that 2 or 1.8. The 400,000 is 5% of 2 million. Am I figuring that right?
Yeah.
Okay, no?
I'll get you the breakdown.
Okay.
Everybody.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared for that. I was talking about all the hangers. Yeah, but basically, yeah, it ultimately, it doesn't cost you guys anything, so,
All right, perfect.
okay.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Additional state or county officials that would like to address the board this morning? Is Liz coming back?
No,
Okay.
Liz has to go.
Thank you, Liz. Hearing none, limited public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to address the board may do so for up to 3 minutes.
Good morning, Gary White, Nashville. Structure is important, especially when you're dealing with taxpayer dollars. On your agenda today, you have 5 either position or pay requests out there. The first one I want to talk about, the county administrator put together one for the deputy administrator position. It went through a salary classification committee, but never went through the personnel and human services committee that you folks set up last year. I'm not sure why that didn't happen because it seems like it should have. The next one is done by the deputy county administrator. And this is approval of job description classification of chief deputy county clerk position. This one was recommended by the Personnel and Human Services Committee. When I went online last night to look at when this was approved, and I did get a copy of it, there's no record or no agenda item when this meeting took place or when this was approved. Once again, structure and being open is important. I don't understand why this one is going to the Personnel and Human Services Committee, but the first one did not go to it. The third one you got was done in combination with the county administrator and the deputy county administrator, and it was for chief deputy salaries. Once again, your elected officials went to the Personnel and Human Services Committee, and that's where you came up with, I think, this request, but once again, it is not going to the Personnel and Human Services Committee. So is the structure there? Is it being followed? Is it just, okay, let's just go ahead and throw darts? I also think that in June of 2023, the chief deputies were part of the administration that received those 7% increases. Am I wrong? Because you folks in August of 2023 decided to abolish the elected committees And he said the only ones that didn't get compensation at that point in time were the elected officials, and you were going to take care of that. Well, you took care of that. You gave yourselves raises along with other elected officials, and it seems like you've opened up a can of worms, but the process seems to be flawed. The next one is your HR manager position. Once again, it came from the county administrator. It talked about going to I think it went to the classification committee. I'm going to guess that's a salary classification committee. But it was never approved through the Personnel and Human Services Committee. When you set the committees up, aren't you supposed to follow what you set up, or your administrator supposed to follow what you set up? It makes no sense to me to, well, we will with this person, but 3 other people we're not going to.
Can you summarize your comments, please?
Yeah, there is one more, and it was a part-time position that, once again, it did not go to the Personnel Committee. So if you're going to have committees in place, my biggest concern is if you don't follow the structure that's set up now, what's going to happen? You have, well, I'll probably have to come back, but you have contract negotiations with, what, 4 or 5 different unions? And this is just going to be a cluster. And this, I think, just shows it. Thank you.
Additional public comment?
Good morning. Larry Osborne, Delton. I just wanted to say, once again, our clerks pulled off another great election. I don't know how many of you go to the county website where they list it, but I'm telling you, our county is one of the first to have the results posted on there. And if you look at what's going on with the rest of the country right now, I think we take that for granted. But there's some places still don't have the results in. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you very much to all the clerks of the county.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Shelley Lake from Irving, and I just wanted to let you know that the Berry County Republican Party, even though this is a nonpartisan thing we're working on, is a hand count system. We've been training on it. We will be bringing in 10 Democrats. Well, we're using the Linda Rance method, and it's part of, I knew I would forget how to exactly say it, but it's part of the Michigan Emergency Management Plan and the Cyber Disruption Response Plan. I think it's great that every county has something in place in case systems go down. And training using this Linda Rance method out of Missouri, we have put funds into this. The training, it's going really well. We'll be recruiting the other party to come in and be just as involved. And we'll also be available to go to other counties if they're called for a hand count. We can help train them or do it for them. So I just want to let you know what we're working on, and we'll have ready whenever it's needed.
Thank you, Shelley. Additional public comment? Hearing none, we will move ahead with our agenda. Approval of written agenda. At this time, any member of the board may ask for an item to be removed from the consent agenda and placed under items for consideration.
Mr. Chair, I would like to remove H from the
Item H.
and postpone.
Okay. Let's move item H. That'll become after item E on items for consideration, so. Okay. Any additional requests? Hearing no such requests, does any commissioner wish to change the agenda additionally? Hearing none, the agenda is approved as modified.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
If we could just remove item H completely from the agenda.
Okay. Remove it completely. All right, we shall. Item H shall be struck. So the agenda is approved as amended. Various correspondence. Does any commissioner have correspondence they'd like to share with the board?
Mr. Chair, I did receive an email this week that the Area Agency on Aging, Carewell Services, I don't know the best word, dismissed their CFO.
Okay.
Or eliminated his position, perhaps. I'm not sure exactly, because it was not discussed really at the board meetings that I was attending. And I think that the board should be aware of that, you know, the Area Agency on Aging has kind of a history of not, prior to the current director, of financial difficulties.
Okay.
This individual, I had quite a lot of respect for, Glenn Windsor. It was a surprise to me. When I first got put on that board, on a number of these boards, they're, you know, a lot of these boards hold millions of dollars, and they were all being invested at 1% interest, and he was investing the funds at over 4%, and I was able to use his direction as an example for these other boards. So I just think it's something the board should be aware of.
I appreciate that, thank you. Any additional correspondence? Consent agenda, Commissioner Tunison.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item A, approval of October 22nd, 2024 Board of Commissioner meeting minutes. Item B, approval to appoint Stephen Wilson to serve on the Berry County Community Mental Health Authority Board for a partial term that began on April 1st, 2024 and expires on March 31st, 2027. C, approval to appoint Don Johnson III, Ken Walsh, Ron Eshuis, Sarah Moyer-Cale, Brent Cowan, Jodi Pessell, Catherine Getty, Rob Heethuis, Craig Stolsonburg, Frank Fiala, Dave Hatfield, and Danielle Zoellner to the Berry County Materials Management Planning Committee, MMPC, for the term beginning 2012-1 of 24 and ending 11/30 of 2029. Approval to accept $10,000 from 27OH Incorporated for the purpose of the Trap, Neuter, and Release Program. Item E, approval of the fiscal year 2025 SCOA grant contracts for adult drug court, sobriety court, and SWIFT and Sure Sanctions probation program, and approval of the net cost agreement for substance use disorder services through Southwest Management Behavioral Health Regional Entity for fiscal year 2025, and authorize the board chairperson to sign the agreement. Approval in accordance with the Airport Commission Joint Operating Agreement of the expenditure of $17,000 as the airport share of the 2025 taxiway project for the Hastings City Berry County Airport. Approval to set the base salary for the Berry County Road Commission at $5,000 effective 1/1/25. Approval to attach human resource manager job description and classification. Approval for the reclassification of the deputy administrator from a DH-14 to a DH-15 effective immediately. K, approval of the agreement for the economic development service between Berry County and the Berry County Chamber of Economic Development Alliance for the period January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025.
Support, Smelker. Motion by Tunison, support by Smelker for all items listed on the consent agenda. Discussion is not allowed and a roll call vote is required. All those in favor vote aye, opposed vote nay. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Carlton.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Doster.
Aye.
Getty. Aye. Hatfield.
Aye.
Smelker.
Aye.
Tunison.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The consent agenda is approved. Presentations, we have none. Public hearings, we have none. Items for consideration, Commissioner Smelker.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of prepaid invoices in the amount of $14,769,918.51.
Is there support? Motion by Smelker, support by Getty for approval of prepaid invoices in the amount of $14,769,918.51. Discussion. Hearing none. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Halton,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Doster,
Aye.
Getty, Hatfield,
Aye.
Smelker,
Aye.
Tunison,
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of claims in the amount of $128,947.69.
Is there support?
Support, Hatfield.
Motion by Smelker, support by Hatfield for approval of claims in the amount of $128,947.69. Discussion. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Halton,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Doster,
Aye.
Getty, Hatfield,
Aye.
Smelker,
Aye.
Tunison,
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Move for the approval of commissioner reimbursement mileage in the amount of $640.52.
Is there support?
Support, Campbell.
Motion by Smelker, support by Campbell for approval of commissioner reimbursement mileage in the amount of $640.52. Discussion. Hearing none. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Halton,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Doster,
Aye.
Getty, Hatfield,
Aye.
Smelker,
Aye.
Tunison,
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Approval to ratify the 2025 salaries as recommended on 10/15/24 for the following chief deputies and elected officials. Chief prosecuting attorney, $102,187.30. Under sheriff, $83,833.20. First deputy county clerk, $61,683.92.
Is there support?
Support, Hatfield.
Motion by Smelker, support by Hatfield for approval to ratify the 2025 salaries as recommended on 10/15/24 for the following chief deputies of elected officials. Chief prosecuting attorney, $102,187.30. Under sheriff, $83,833.20. First deputy county clerk, $61,683.92. Discussion. Hearing none. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
I have a question.
In the middle of a motion?
It is discussion. We will allow a question.
Well, as I said, that was the question I had earlier in my public comment. If these positions have already been given raises back in June of 2023, why are you getting raises again? Because that money went to the year ending for June or July. So now you're double compensating one section of people. So that was the reason, and then it also did not go before the personnel committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it okay to give a short answer on that, just as far as the statute? Okay, there is a,
Also, one more clarification, make sure deputy, chief deputy, the clerk.
okay, first deputy is chief deputy, okay. There's a statute that was brought to our attention by the attorneys that there is a state statute that has a compensation schedule. If I'm saying this wrong, Eric, let me know, but there's a compensation schedule that has to be commensurate with what the elected official is being received. This just came to our attention, so we've been working through that with the attorneys. This is in response to that statute, bringing us in compliance with that. So there's some details to be worked out with that, with some other positions, but we are doing this in response to the statute to bring us in compliance. Is that correct, Eric?
Yes,
Would you like to
Mr.
add
Chair.
anything to that?
The only other addition would be, this is something you would set annually. If you recall, the chief deputies would be set at the same time you do the elected officials. So you can set them annually, you can't reduce their salary during the term, but you can increase them annually, as opposed to, for example, your salaries are set for the term already. So the next 4 years, you know what you'll make. Each of these chief deputies, as well as their elected officials, you will say annually. There are 3 that we're still working through with the
there's just some information that wasn't public in that discussion at this point, but. Additional discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Carlton.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Doster.
Aye.
Getty. Hatfield.
Aye.
Smelker.
Aye.
Tunison.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of the attached Chief Deputy County Clerk job description and classification at grade level 9, replacing the Senior Deputy County Clerk position effective January 1, 2025.
Is there support?
Support, Hatfield.
Motion by Smelker, support by Hatfield for approval of the attached Chief Deputy County Clerk description and classification at grade level 9, replacing the Senior Deputy Clerk position effective January 1st, 2025.
Mr. Chair, one point. On this one, the classification level will not matter because you're setting this pay annually. So it's just an FYI, this is a continuation of the previous.
Thank you. Additional discussion? Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Carlton.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Doster.
Aye.
Getty. Hatfield.
Aye.
Smelker.
Aye.
Tunison.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, we have none. County Administrator's report.
Went with Commissioner Carlton last night to Woodland Village and Carlton Township. I will be, well, I just have a running note there. Go there. I will be at Berry Township tonight, and then Rutland, and attempt to visit Johnstown Wednesday. I have every township, village, city scheduled from now until mid-February, so I'll be running into each of you at your townships at some point. Besides that, thank you to the clerk's office for a wonderful election. Heard nothing but good things last night at Carlton Township. They were very thankful. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. Chairperson's report. I was at Hope Township last night for a short meeting. I will also be at Berry Township tonight and Rutland Township on Wednesday. Is that correct? Yep. I'll be there. So, Vice Chairperson's report.
I have nothing to report.
Commissioner reports. Commissioner Tennyson.
I will be attending Hastings Charter tonight, so that will be the only one I have to go to this month, seeing as how my other commissioners are covered for me on Mike did last night, and you're gonna do Wednesday, so we're good.
Yes, sir. Commissioner.
I don't know if microphones aren't on, I'm sorry, or I'm just old and deaf, but.
Combination.
Yeah, you're not into that.
Please be sure your microphones are on, commissioners. Commissioner Campbell.
I was at Assyria and Maple Grove last week. Can I mention the fairground activity?
Sure. Absolutely.
I also attended I guess it'd be an organizational meeting at the Expo Center. There is going to be a huge Rock the Country concert that's going to take place at the fairgrounds. It's going to be next summer, June 13th and 14th. They'll actually be camping and on-site stores, and expected to be 20 to 25,000 attendees. These are a group that does 10 of these a year around the country, and they handpicked Hastings to be the site they wanted to do this. So it's going to be quite an event. It'll all be handled by the group that's doing this and sponsoring. I know Kid Rock is a big part of it, and I don't know any of the other names because he wouldn't tell us. So.
Was there a representation from Rutland Township there at that meeting?
Yes, the incoming supervisor was there.
Okay.
And everything went very well. Very well.
Awesome. Thank you. Sounds like it'll be a rockin' summer there. You're going to be singing at that event, I'm assuming?
They're trying to pull people in, Mr. Chairman.
Ah, there we go. Mr. Smelker.
I have nothing except I attended the COA breakfast and it was very good. Thank you, COA.
Commissioner Getty.
I attended Thornapple Township last night. It was a fairly short meeting. And I have Yankee Springs on Thursday.
Okay. Commissioner Carlton.
I was with John at the COA Veterans Breakfast yesterday. It was great breakfast. Last night, I was at Woodland Village, Carlton Township. I'll be at Woodland Township tonight, Nashville Thursday, Castleton Township Wednesday. But there's something of interest as far as I want to get the trap, neuter, and release program that we have approved today. I see it's of special interest in the two villages, Woodland and Nashville, especially. I live in the village of Nashville, and we have a problem with feral cats, especially this year. I've lived there over 30 years in that neighborhood, and it really got out of control this year. Some residents have taken things into their own hands. So this will be a tool. I'll discuss it more with them and how to make an appointment with Bull Creek Veterinary and with Animal Control and have this done, try to solve this feral cat problem we have in a humane way.
Thank you. Commissioner Doster?
I have nothing.
Okay. We are back to limited public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to address the board for up to 3 minutes may do so. Limited public comment.
I'll just go back to the one thing I said. If you have a personnel committee and then it's not being used at the appropriate times, or it's being used for union members and not for salary members, there may be a problem later on. So it's interesting to find out that the chief deputies are now in a different classification, but you'd already given raises to them. So now, it was just interesting that it had to be drug out of you and just sort of brought out. As I said, I don't understand what the big deal was on that because it was brought up earlier. But the personnel committee doesn't seem to be being very effective at this point in time, so I'm not sure why you have it.
Thank you. Additional public comment? Hearing none. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Doster?
I saw the movie The Conclave, and it's great.
The Conclave. Okay. Noted. Commissioner Colton?
Nothing.
Commissioner Getty?
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Smelter?
Nothing.
Vice Chair Hatfield? Commissioner Campbell?
What?
Wow. Commissioner Tunison?
Couple things. I'm super excited about being reelected and being a part of this board for 4 years with all of you here. Mark, I've appreciated all the time with you too. So,
Thank you.
Wish you the best in whatever you decide to do with your life from now on, other than attend a meeting for 2 or 3 hours every Tuesday and all the other meetings you attend.
Yeah.
About the Commission on Aging new building too. So I think, super excited about that. To think that 2 years ago, it wasn't even on the radar that we were going to possibly get this done. And shortly after the first year of 2020, well, been 23, when we decided to go forward and put the money aside for that, it really took off. And for that fact that we're putting bids out in less than 2 years is quite an amazing thing, I think, that this is moving forward this fast. And the great support of the community. So just wanted to mention that in a minute. So.
It seems slow, but the enthusiasm at the COA is noted. There's some definite buzzing. That's good to see. It's good to see. Couple thoughts. Number one, we just had Veterans Day yesterday. I want to thank all the veterans on this board for your service. Thank you very much. We appreciate everything you do. Bruce, being the post commander down there, you're continuing to serve at a pretty high level and take care of everything down there in Delton, so we appreciate you and everything you're doing down there. So, and all veterans here in the audience and throughout the county. So, and just to follow up on some of the comments made, I think our elections in this county went very smooth. Very few hiccups. Being married to a clerk, I get some firsthand information, good or bad, and it came back very, very well that the elections were run efficiently. I think hopefully Sarah would agree with that comment as well, other than maybe being a late night, that everything got in, but we expect that once in a while. So on behalf of this board, we appreciate all of our township clerks and everybody who participated in the elections, either as poll watchers, poll workers, throughout 9-day early voting. I was surprised to see that as bad as the results were for the presidential primary and the primary, that early voting was actually fairly brisk at the township level, to see in the centers that they had set up seemed to work out very well. So my appreciation to Sarah, her staff, all of our township officials for what they did. Commissioners, coming up, just some things for you to think about. As we get into a new year, we'll have one new commissioner coming in. That be a good time to start thinking about your board rules, if there's any reviews or anything you want to change on that. And also board assignments, if there's something you're doing, would like to do, something else you'd like to see. That will be reaffirming board assignments coming up here at the organizational meeting the first of the year, which is closer than you think. It was an interesting comment from Shelley. I appreciate that on the hand recounts. I know there was a suit filed by Irving Township on that. I'm not quite sure where that's going yet, but we'll be interested to hear more about that. I know it's always interesting. There are deer running around, as our sheriff will probably tell us, that we are one of the top counties in the state for a number of deer kills. So, you know, keep your eyes on the road, drive safe, and we will see you next week. Thank you. We are adjourned.